What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we dive into day 24 of our free-to-play challenge as we kind of round out the challenge as a whole. So far, the challenge, like I said, has gone pretty good in previous videos. We built our first competitive deck. We've been using it for the most part here in this challenge to get us up to platinum ranked in constructed for the rank Q. And we also went ahead and we actually built a couple other decks that we can also play here in MTG Arena. And I've been slowly upgrading my other decks here in our previous videos, like my Rakdos Anvil deck, and then we also have the Mirror Ninjas. And I think today we're actually going to switch it up, and we're actually going to dive in and we're going to play with some Rakdos Anvil, as I do think it's in a pretty decent place that it can be pretty competitive, especially even in the rank ladder. We are at 1,600 gold roughly and about 1,300 gems, and we do have some wild cards that we can use if we want to kind of upgrade our deck just a little bit more, maybe get another rare land or something like that. Other than that, we are, reset with our daily wins. We have played 25 lands today. We can re-roll it to kind of see if we can get a better roll on a quest, to see if we maybe get a 750 gold quest, which will definitely help out if we want to get ourselves up to another standard event, as that's definitely going to be kind of the way we're going to grind up our gems, is kind of convert our gold into gems for the most part. So we're going to roll that real quick. All right, not really anything great, but 20 blue or red spells is still not bad, plus our daily wins. And we're just going to go into our Rakdos Anvil deck here, and we're just going to go ahead and we're actually just going to craft another copy of Haunted Ridge and just kind of clean up our lands a little bit, as it's kind of like the one thing that we really need to do for the deck to kind of make it a little bit better. So we'll use our one wild card. We will uncraft, go back to the deck, and what we'll do here is we'll increase this and decrease our Bloodfell Caves. I still think it's okay to have Bloodfell Caves in the deck. I could remove them completely or just go down on one copy, but I'm not going to go ahead and craft things like Pathways, just because there's no point as we get to the tail end of standard currently. We go into rotation if September, and crafting cards, especially rares and mythics that are going to rotate out, are definitely not worth it in my opinion, especially if you're tight on currency overall. We're just going to double check the store today. I don't think there's anything actually in the store, because I don't remember when I checked earlier if there was, but I think everything's cosmetics and related to Baldur's Gate. But yesterday was actually pretty good for us, in the sense that the day that I posted that or recorded that video, we had the 500 gold quest, which I posted the day of when it actually happened. But like I said, we're actually going to dive in, and I'm actually going to dive right into rank play and play some standard rank with our Rakdos Anvil deck. And we're just going to kind of see how we do. I'm not really sure, how the meta currently favors or how Rakdos Anvil does in the current meta. If I really wanted to, I can click real quick on my untap.gg. It'll bring up my profile, but I can actually dive in a little bit if I wanted to and kind of look at the tier list and kind of take a look at, what the overall tiers are. If we're going to go from platinum to mythic, we'll apply the filter, and we'll just kind of see what is currently, ranking as like the higher tier decks. Boros Burn is still at the top, which, it's definitely a good deck just because it is a deck that can grind games. It definitely gets wins quickly. 4.3 minutes is definitely going to be good there. And we're just going to kind of scroll through and just kind of take a look at what, people are playing. Here is Rakdos Sacrifice. It's a little bit lower on the queue. It does have a lot of games played, but, slightly over 50%. It's still very good. And there are definitely different variations of the deck. Basically, the version that, we have is probably somewhere around here. There's definitely versions that have more rares and more mythics, but I still think ours is more of like a decent budget version, and it's they're still gonna be okay even against higher tier decks. Definitely gonna be a little lacking because we're not gonna have certain rares and certain mythics at full copies, especially in our lands. But I don't think it will matter that much as long as we can kind of get our kind of process out of creating artifact creatures and draining our opponent. I still think we'll be okay. And we can kind of see like what our trends are currently overall in the popularity, as it's kind of seemed like Rakdos Anvil's kind of died a little bit in popularity, and overall it's kind of thing has stayed above 50%, but is tilting a little bit lower. And we can kind of see what the matchups are. About 50% against Boros Burn, about 52% against Mono White. Definitely two key decks there. A little behind on things like Orzhov Angels, which I definitely can understand, because if you can't kill their creatures quick enough, they're going to overwhelm us with big creatures. Mono Black Control we're okay with. Control we're okay with. Naya Runes. Again, another deck that can kind of get big really quickly and kind of go over the top before we can really, get anything to stop it. So definitely there's some matchups that we are not favored in, but I do think we'll be okay, I think, overall. We'll just kind of see how the matchmaker treats us when it comes to seeing how we do overall in in this kind of scenario. So I am going to dive into some games. I'm going to record them. I'll probably talk through them just because it's kind of like the first time I'm really playing the deck in more of a serious capacity than just the play queue. So I'll probably narrate the first few games and we'll kind of see how we do. And, we'll see how long the games take, how many games I'll record. just because I don't want the video to be like hours long, just because, you know, sometimes the games can take a little bit long because our deck is built to kind of grind out games life point by life point for the most part. So let's dive in and kind of see how we do. So our opponent goes first, but we have definitely a decent hand. You know, it's definitely got some things to curve out with. We have Unlucky Witness, Bloodtithe Harvester, Experimental Decider, and Anvil. So definitely a very good hand to keep. I think I'm actually going to keep. And we're going to play our red mana source on turn 1 and play Unlucky Witness as a decent chump blocker. Looks like we're against possibly Boros Burn, so definitely, you know, not a great matchup, but we'll definitely try our best to hold down the fort to kind of prevent that early damage. But definitely not, you know, a bad matchup regardless. The one thing we got to watch out for is that they're playing, if they're playing things like their Hopeful Initiates, we don't want those to get a lot of counters so they can sacrifice the counters on them to actually destroy artifacts or enchantments, so definitely not good there. They play second land, and okay, so interesting. So not what I thought it was going to be. Definitely kind of one of those things that's kind of not what I was expecting to be in a red-white deck. I was thinking Boros Burn, but it looks like we're maybe against Mardu or maybe a Boros control deck. I'm not really sure, to be quite 100% here. So next turn, we definitely have a good turn. We can play like Experimental Synthesizer initially to kind of draw a card and kind of see what we get. All right, so we got some sort of Jeskai aggro. Definitely not that bad. We'll attack in first. Swing in for 1. There is some priority stick here, so not sure exactly what they'll have. It's probably their effect to draw a card with their you know, their Bank Buster. They take 1. We'll play Synthesizer. See what we get here. They're going to draw. That's fine. We're also going to draw, essentially, exile on top card. Unfortunately, we lose out on our you know, our Synthesizer draw, but I feel like it's okay. Just because, you know, we don't have any targets for it, but we might as well get the board filled up and kind of drain them a little bit, get an artifact going, because then we can start sacking and getting artifacts. So definitely not a bad turn, I think, for us. And it looks like they may have some sort of removal here, because there was some priority stick for 1 mana, so definitely maybe like a Voltage Surge of their own, or maybe some other sort of spell for 1 mana they could cast, because they can't crew their creature. But definitely, you know, we still have decent pressure on the board. You know, we definitely have what we need, really, to kind of keep the flow going. They're looking at our Synthesizer, I guess, and our Anvil. Just kind of, I guess, sizing us up and seeing what happens, I guess. I'm not really sure, for the most part, what, you know, they're examining here. Maybe they're being very strategic on their play. But, I mean, they have 4 mana. Not really casted anything. I guess maybe they're figuring out if they want to take 5 points of life next turn, or they want to remove the Harvester. All right, so Prismari Command's not bad. You know, they have to use it instead of really burning us. So definitely not, you know, the worst thing, but we'll just play a backup Anvil. We'll actually sacrifice our Synthesizer. We'll say thank you because they said nice that we had a backup. That's unfortunate, but we'll still swing in. You know, still not bad. We lose out on a Deadly Dispute. Just unfortunately can't seem to find our top land. That's fine. We'll sacrifice a creature. We'll try to do 4 to it. They'll get a treasure. If they have a counter, they have a counter. But it looks like they may actually crew their Bank Buster here. Or not sure 100%. They're thinking about it. So they're going to draw a card here before I guess they lose the mana. And then we're going to kill their Goldspan. So definitely didn't want to have them get their extra treasure. That's unfortunate. It's just one of those things, I guess. where you just kind of draw bad. You know, it's unfortunate to lose your spot removal like that. And we'll say go. There was a possibility I could have played the reactor. I don't know. I don't know if I want to go completely all out. I don't know what kind of removal they have. They do have 6 mana, which is definitely, you know, not good for us. They get in for 4. But we're definitely not behind. We're definitely in the head here, so they're trying to they gotta put pressure on us, I guess, at this point. Though they do have a lot of mana, there could be like a Hullbreaker Horror in our future or something like that. So definitely not great for us, but it looks like they're maybe going to tap their Bankbuster and draw. And now they get a 1/1. They have their creature. They have 3 mana technically. Not sure 100% what's happening now. All right, they say go. We'll play Reactor. Because this will actually start ticking up, which is good for us. We will play Epic here. Hit him for 1. Get a token. Put a counter on our reactor. Now, I mean, the one thing here is that we are all in technically. So that is definitely, you know, it's a possibly an issue here. We'll still swing in. Just keep on the pressure with the life. Sure, I'll get a card. No, don't want to give me a card. Sure, they'll take the 2. In this position, I'll just sack, create another creature. Just another blocker. Drain him again for 1. Get another counter. They're at 7. We're at 20. So we're definitely in a good spot here. Just because, you know, we still have a decently wide board. They play Burn Down the House. That's the unfortunate part, but we definitely can get back into it pretty easily. We have decent blockers. They're going to sack. Play Hullbreaker Horror. Interesting to do it here. And then they're going to Hullbreaker Horror. The Reactor? Interesting. I would say that's an interesting play on their end. Just because I guess maybe they thought they were going to die if they attack. I'm a little unsure. Definitely an interesting play. I don't know if they played a land or if they're tapped out. They get 2 treasure. They're going to keep black blockers. They go to 16. Well, reactor? Sure. I'm still going to swing in. Just got to keep the pressure on them. Even if they have blockers, I can still block pretty well here. I mean, force them to cast a spell. They're going to take 3. Interesting. They have a spell. It doesn't seem like they have much. So really all we got to do is just not die. And we're in a good position here. I mean, they can cast a lot of spells here and bounce a lot of things, but I feel like they're definitely... Oh, okay. Game's lagging out, but it's playing. I thought this bug was kind of gone. I can't click anything. Sure. Maybe they're going to play a big spell. Bounce things back. I don't really know what you do in this position if I was them. You can kill creatures. It looks like they're maybe going to do that. Kill my 2 attackers, be able to attack in, hit me for a decent amount of damage, but I'm not technically dead. Sure. Sure. They have a counter? Sure. They're going to swing all in, which is interesting, I think. Because I have lethal on the way back unless they have a spell. I'm a little unsure of what's going on. Oh, they had lethal. Never mind. I thought I was still at 17. I didn't think I was down by 4. Okay, yet again, you know, it was definitely a close game. They just got their stuff out. Definitely a game that we were just on the cusp of winning. Opponent goes first. Our hand's okay. Not great, but okay. Probably play turn 1 Mountain, play Voltage Surge. Unless we draw another untapped source, maybe we just play Haunted Ridge tapped and then say go. But I think it's definitely still good because, you know, we can use synthesizers to dig a little bit deeper, hopefully find a land. Deadly Dispute we actually have in our hand this time instead of going away to the synthesizer effect. We didn't really get lucky on our synthesizer top decks just because they didn't have much for us to use our spells with when we got the cards. So definitely looking a little bit better. Could use an Anvil. Get the board kind of full of stuff. Looks like they're playing something wiped. I think I play the Mountain untapped just because, you know, it's possibility they're playing creatures. Maybe they're playing angels, want to slow that down. Okay, they get unlucky. We get a tap land. We say go. We get a tap land. Just need another land here. We're pretty good because next turn we play 3rd land, play Anvil. Sure. So it looks like they are some sort of Valamakis deck. So definitely not great for us because, you know, we got to make sure we can stay in the game. Did not get lucky. This is definitely not the position we want to be in this situation just because this matchup we're not the best against, especially if we don't get that land. So we're kind of risking it for a land, which is great. And I'll play Harvester. Get the token, put some pressure. It looks like they're going to remove it, which is fine. You know, really, it's not the biggest deal. We still get the token regardless. It's not like we can sacrifice it in response because it's sorcery speed spell, has summon and sickness, but you know, it's okay that we curved out. Next turn is definitely not bad, though we really don't have much for Valamakis. Maybe we get a decent amount of artifacts that we can target their Valamakis when it comes on the battlefield, though that really is only about 8 damage, which is not great. I played a land. I didn't play a land. We'll synthesizer. Hopefully get a land. Get a blocker. Get a land. Play land. You say go? We'll get rid of your creatures so they don't get mana. They can't ramp up. Though they are looking at a turn that they could Valamakis here because they already have it in the graveyard. So definitely not a good turn for us. Just because, you know, they have a lot. They're looking for their Invoke Justice here. So definitely a possibility that they can go off this turn if they have the land. So looking for an Invoke Justice more than likely in this position from them. Possibly don't have Invoke Justice. Being very slow about having Invoke Justice. It's definitely one of those cards you slam once you pretty much have open attacks here, I would say. Because I mean they can get back Velomachus and it's good. Sure. I guess they want to dig deeper. I guess they don't have their card they need. Play Synthesizer. We'll dig a little bit deeper. We'll get a land. We will play Harvester. Get another blood token. We will sacrifice a blood token. Get a creature. Ping him for 1. We'll say go. Sure. Digging still. Really trying to find that their card. Got another land. They're definitely in the tank here. I guess they're maybe thinking about playing their Angel Fire Ignition. Well, that's not happening. Summon 0. Resolve. I think we sacrifice the blood token. We'll get rid of the cave. Trigger. Another land's not great. Swing in for 3. Put some pressure on them. They maybe not want to block. Sure. We'll play another red source. And we'll say go. Sure. I mean, there's a possibility they may try to just tap out here and try to pump a bunch of reflections out, but they can only do it once. Sure. Make you do it now. Sure. Probably gonna do it for the one that dies. That's fine. Pass to attackers. I don't think they have it. Oh, they have attackers, I guess. Citizen. We'll sacrifice an artifact. We'll draw some cards. We'll say my turn. Anvil's good. Play Unlucky Witness. Decklists doesn't look great here in this position just because we don't have a lot going on the board. But might as well try to get some damage out of it. Maybe get a little life gain. Maybe give them a target to attack other than, say, our... face, I guess is the best way to put it. And I guess we sacrifice here. Get a card to exile. Nothing great, to be quite honest. We will minus for a devil. We'll plus for discarding. I mean, that's probably definitely good for them, but getting some life gains definitely not bad. Play a synthesizer. That's fine. Play a red source. Play witness. All right. Don't have really anything to do here, so we say go because we already got our artifacts. I mean, they should have their Invoke Justice by now, to be quite honest, if I would assume, because they've drawn probably half their deck almost at this point. So, I mean, it's just a matter of time until they draw it. So I would say we're in a good position if we get a Meat Hook. I mean, there's a possibility we could still draw that because that kind of, you know, allows us to dig a little bit deeper into our deck. I mean, it's possible that they're just kind of trying to get as wide as possible against us as well. I mean, they should just attack in the air against us, against their Nixiluses. That's fine. Yeah, I don't want to do anything there. Sure. I mean, we didn't take 10 to the face, which is a plus. So, I mean, this possibly comes down really to, sure. I mean, this is really just the time that we really need that, Meat Hook. Not a Meat Hook. You dig? Not a Meat Hook. Really just need to wipe the board. And that is the card. So swing, do it for 5. We do it for 5 anyway. Gain a lot of life. Do a lot of damage. Start 6. Not a lot we can do with what we have there, unfortunately. But, I mean, we're definitely not in a bad spot. I mean, we don't have a lot of artifacts here, so it's definitely bad there. But have a lot of life. That's fine. I mean, these life points matter. Synthesizer. Get a card. I can Meat Hook again. Do for 5 again. Yeah. I'll play the land. We'll sacrifice. Sure. We'll say go. We get to drain them for 2 this turn, and then drain them for another 2 the following turn. So they definitely have to like they have to gain life because they're not in a good spot in this position. Because next turn we have double anvils. We have 1 anvil trigger, and then we have a backup anvil trigger. And the right one was on the wall, essentially. So definitely a good, hard victory. You know, the game took a little while, but we got there. You know, the meat hooks came in clutch as it got around the Indestructible Bull. And then we were able to clean up the board twice, which is definitely very good. We're on the play. Definitely not a bad hand. You know, we don't really have any creatures. Don't have any way to get creatures on the battlefield, but we'll definitely, you know, say go. Play the tap lane, gain that 1 point of life. Unless our opponent's playing aggro, you know, we're not really in a position that we need to worry. All right, so they're tapped out, which is, I think, good for us to take advantage of. And I think this is where we just play a red source, and while, you know, they're tapped out, we just go ahead and we Luminancer here and just submit 0. Just because they are a Magecraft deck, and the less they have with aggro, like being able to play spells, attack in, the better it is for us. We'll play our Synthesizer, see if we top deck a land or something that is useful. We get a land that comes into play untapped. We'll follow that up with a Blood Tithe Harvester. And now we have some pretty decent pressure on the board. And it kind of worked out that we were able to play all the things we got. So definitely utilizing the Synthesizer. All right, so they got Jenkins Guard Elite. Not the worst. Definitely something that, you know, can get annoying quickly. And they are playing green, so that means they have things that like give things trample. So that's the other thing we got to watch out for. In this position, I don't think there's anything that gives indestructible for white, though they could play a spell, give it +1/+1 or something. So it's definitely not that most ideal. I could Ob Nixilis straight up and start hitting their hand and hitting their life points that way. We get a devil token out of it, which isn't the worst. So we'll play with casualty. We get rid of our creature. We get 2 Ob Nixilises with 3 casualty. And against a deck like this, we want to be aggressive in this sense because we want to make sure that we're hitting them as hard as possible, as quickly as possible. And see, we knew that they had something because we could have attacked in, and it would have just they would have given a shield counter, which would have nullified our attack. This is the token. This is the real one. We'll minus this one. Get a token, and we'll just start taxing their hand. And we'll say go. We can sacrifice the blood token if we want to in this position, just because it is going to be the way that we're going to... That's perfectly fine. They probably want to kill one of our creatures. Yet again, fine. Because now they have vigilance, they're going to attack in at something. We can still block, which gets rid of the shield counter. They may just go face. Do I want to block? Because it's still going to take 6, or still take 5. It's going to die. We'll no block. We'll keep the creature. I am going to cycle out probably the swamp, or probably the tap land. And just kind of see what we draw. But we can still hit their hand, which is good. Discard, making them discard. We get an anvil, which is awesome, because we get double anvil, which is even better. So we can anvil. We can anvil. We can make them discard, gain some life. Because the one thing that they want to have is card advantage, and making them discard is not card advantage. We can sacrifice this. We can get 2 tokens. Drain them for a point of damage. Don't have the red mana source, which is unfortunate, but, you know, it's definitely unfortunate for us, but we'll just say go. No attacks and say go. You know, they have Ob Nixilis they have to deal with. We have decent artifacts on the battlefield. They only have so many cards that give creatures trample. So as long as they don't kill multiple of our creatures, we're perfectly fine in that regard. It's perfectly fine. They have an 8/8. They can tap 6 and double the counters, but if it doesn't have trample, no matter how big it is, it doesn't really matter in that sense. Next turn, we can reactor, sacrifice one of the tokens. We can then get 2 token counters on the reactor and grow the reactor up. So we definitely have a very good, you know, selection of cards to use against their very minimal hand. And I bet you they're looking at their sideboard and they're like, well, what do I want to get? Okay, they got a card that gives a creature vigilance, more counters. It's fine. No attacks. Interesting. We're not going to drain. I don't think the 1 point of damage will matter as much. All right, that's perfectly fine. So we can reactor. We'll put counters here. We'll plus. We'll, you know, gain some life. We'll say go. We'll sacrifice an artifact here. We'll get 2 tokens. And I bet they're probably trying to find a way that they can grow their creature. So definitely, you know, we're not in a bad position. They're at 14. They're not out a lot of life. So they're probably trying to grow their creature as big as possible, is my best guess. But, you know, at some point they're going to start having to make sure they have, you know, a decent life total. I don't know if they play a card that gives a creature lifelink. I mean, that would be like the clutch play for them if I was them. Though, you know, the one thing is I could put an artifact in front of it and sacrifice and they don't get any life, so Not bad in that regard. Still no attacks. In this position, we will sacrifice one of our artifacts. We'll drain it for another point of life because, you know, now we're playing the life game where, you know, every life point's going to matter for them, and we'll say go. We don't have any plays, really. We have another anvil, which is awesome. We get another token here. We'll give it a good old plus. Drain it for some more. We will sacrifice one of our artifacts. We'll get 3 artifacts. We'll get some tokens on our reactor. And we'll say go. I think next turn they're dead. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you think about it, right? If we look back at the match, right? You look at our battlefield here. We have 3 anvils out, which is, I mean, more than enough that we're going to need. This is at 7. Next turn, we don't even have to. We don't even have to play. We just have to crack one of these, get a couple more artifacts. This goes up to 10, and they're dead because they probably have no way of removing this. And unfortunately, they're as big as their Dragon Guard Elite is, it can't get through because it doesn't have trample. So it's just a big creature with a lot of counters. I mean, if I was them, maybe I put pressure on me and maybe have to make me use blockers. I mean, they also didn't double the counters and give it like double the amount of counters. So it had 6. They can give it additional, 6 counters by doubling it. And it's not sorcery speed, so it's definitely something that they could have done last turn at the end of our turn. So definitely a lot of things, that I guess didn't work out in their favor. And, thankfully we were able to grind the game out for the most part. So opponent goes first. It's not a bad hand. We're just missing black mana. So I think I keep regardless because we have a lot of playables, and I think we can draw into that black mana. So definitely not the worst. It looks like we got green. We'll just do that. Play a witness and say go. Looks like they're playing some sort of Simic. Maybe they're playing Teamer. Maybe they're playing Simic. Not really sure. Got green-blue land so far, Pathway. Looks like they're playing Bant, it looks like. Okay, so Bant enchantments, I guess. Interesting position to put ourselves in. So we'll play this. We'll play another Unlucky Witness. And I think we just say go. Make them make the first move. Maybe they put an enchantment on their naturalist. We can then, in response, just shock their naturalist, maybe. Sure. Submit 0. Make them make the first move. Still missing black mana. Let's see if we get it. Takanuma's fine. And we'll play Blood Tithe Harvester. So definitely, a little bit of a dig there, but we got our black mana. It definitely worked out in that sense. Problem is, we really can't let them get too big. Hollowed Haunted, definitely, one of those things we gotta take it day by day. They don't really have a good attack here. Still missing our another black mana source. But if we play another Blood Tithe Harvester, right, we can sacrifice this one and kill their Kami, which is good for us. So that means they don't have an artifact really to target anything with. We'll swing it for 2. They don't have any haste on their end, so definitely good for us. Blood Tithe Harvester is very good here. That's fine. They'll search the library for an enchantment card reveal and put it into the card on top. Definitely, interesting. The one thing here is that we really have to limit how many enchantments they have. That's definitely, one of those things that... Okay, they play Ascendancy. All right, so they're playing like Bant tokens essentially here. So they dig for a card, then they get the card. Interesting. I guess they don't want to. They want to make sure they draw it. I'm not really sure. Swinging for 3. They probably don't want to do anything with that. That's fine. We'll see. Do I say go? I didn't get a mana, right? So I think we actually sacrifice this and see if we top deck a mana. We'll get a creature out of it. Oh. Unfortunate. I could have also left up Deadly Dispute. But, you know, might as well go wide. You know, they can only play, like, it can only play their Ascendancy, really, and get a creature, but it doesn't really grow their board too extensively that we're out of, you know, it's out of control. Perfectly fine. They get a 1/1. The things become 3/2s. Like 4/3 and a 2/2 is not, like, the worst. We will sacrifice this. We will not get black mana. We can play the Smelter, though. And that allows us to put more pressure on them. And if they have no creatures, they really can't do anything, right? Auto pay. Sack of blood. Swinging for 3. You know what? Swinging for 5. You know, put him low. Next turn, you know, this is definitely one of those positions that they don't want to be in. You know, they're at low points. They want creatures on the board at this point. That's fine. They're 12. I mean, Naturalist, okay. Get a creature. They have another follow-up creature here. I just really need that secondary black mana source, to be quite honest. Because once I get that, right, then I can drop a Meathook Massacre here for some pretty decent damage. That's not what I want here, unfortunately. Do we get another black mana source? Tap land, which is okay. Yeah, this may be the, you know, that may be the fault of not having that additional mana, missing that land drop. Their two creatures now become 4/4s. If they play another enchantment, their other creatures are bigger. We may not be able to get enough land. All right. Yeah, so I think they also get fly in here at this point. Yeah, definitely big creatures. So I don't know why the game bugged out, but okay. Do you have a play? Hello, game. They're tapped out. I have 1 mana. I don't have any priorities. Is it trying to catch up? Did the game freeze? I have no idea what happened. We're back in the game. Definitely not in a good spot here. Past the damage. We're at 7. Not the spot we want to be in. We'll sacrifice. Harvester's too slow here, unfortunately, because they'll have to come into play untapped. They get counters. That only does 4, which is unfortunate. Maybe I shouldn't have sacrificed the treasure. Yeah, I mean, we don't have any good blocks here to get rid of their creatures to turn off their enchantments. So it's definitely a GG's. Got messed up by the black mana source that we didn't have, so definitely not the best game for us. Also, that looked weird. It didn't, like, take away my rank. So I don't know what happened there. I don't know if I lost rank or gained rank. I don't know if it counted the game because it, like, didn't go up or go down. Opponent goes first, but our hand's actually really good. You know, we have all the things we want. Definitely some early pressure. These great blood tokens, which are great fodder for Oni Code Anvil. We have a Meat Hook Massacre, so we have some way to wipe the board and kind of reset things in case it gets a little out of hand. So definitely not that bad. We have double black as well, which is good. They're gonna mulligan. Looks like we're facing something with mono white, so we're gonna turn 1 Epicure. In a way, put a little bit of pressure on them. You know, ping 1 for point of damage. Get you know, a little bit of you know, artifacts going. They play Spirited Companion, so it looks like they are also enchantments. Definitely a good deck. We swing in and just kind of see if they block. You know, are they a blocker or are they a taker? All right, looks like they are someone who wants to take. I'm gonna play a Blood Tithe Harvester because that feels like it's the right thing to do in this position, right? Because if they grow their companion with an enchantment, they could always just sacrifice it and get rid of it. Looks like they're the true Selesnya enchantment deck. Maybe they have a play here. What announcement? It's perfectly fine. You know, once it kind of turns on things, you know, that does, to me, getting that doesn't matter as much. I'm actually just going to sacrifice a blood token now. You know what? Let's just sacrifice this and draw. And we'll just get rid of a Black Manosaurus, get a 1/1, get some more value out of it, even though we could have gotten a drain. Could use a little bit more artifact, which is fine. That's perfectly fine. They get rid of our creature. No big deal. They're not really putting a lot of pressure, so... yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure. That's perfectly fine. Marina Might's cool in my book. No attack? Sure. We'll play Haunted Ridge. We'll play Epicure. We will play Obnixilis. We'll casualty. Sacrifice an artifact because we'll get a trigger. We will minus on the actual version, and we'll plus on the one that will discard the token, so it goes up to 2. And now we have a pretty decent board. You know, they only have a 2/2 right now. Sure, it could grow, but, you know, it's not the worst. Them getting a bunch of lands isn't the big deal. Sure, Borrowed Time's fine. We'll just sacrifice either... I mean, if they take the Anvil, I'll just sacrifice in response, and Borrowed Time is, you know, null and void for them. And to me, that doesn't seem like a big deal. Sweet. So at this point, I think we play land and reset. I feel like that's fine. What do we need? 3? Thanks. Discard? Or take 2? Discard? They're at 5. So, looking good for us. Discard? Discard? We'll get rid of Swamp. Play a Witness. We'll casualty it. And they see the right on the wall because we can ping them twice for 2 discards, and it's game pretty much there. So a good game for us. We had the right answers against their deck. All right, so we are back after playing our games here in MTG Arena. We ended up playing 5 games with the deck. It took us about 45 minutes of games to do. We were good against the Selesnya deck, the red-white deck, which ended up being more of the, you know, the Invoke Justice, reanimate Valamakis kind of deck that they didn't reanimate at all. We lost against a Teamer deck, which, you know, it's definitely, you know, one of those things where the control deck definitely got the better of us. I didn't realize when I died that I was as low life as I was, because I forgot that I thought they Magma Opus our creatures, not our life points. And then we lost against a Bant Tokens deck just because I felt like we got more mana screwed there. Like, we didn't have the right colors to play the cards in our hand. I felt like if we had the double black earlier, we wouldn't have been able to possibly Meat Hook kind of wipe the board. That made their enchantment not be as effective. But, you know, still, it was definitely a close game, I think, even though we were still a little bit mana screwed. But yeah, not that bad. You know, we didn't really get much in the way of increase in rank. Like, we're still, you know, at platinum. You know, we did go 3-2, which is still very good. You know, 100% on the play, 50% on the draw. It seems like our play is definitely a lot better just because you're able to do your thing first and your opponent has to more so react to what you're doing, which is definitely, you know, the thing with most decks in best of one. But it's definitely fun to kind of switch things up from every now and then. You know, being able to play a few games with a deck, kind of, you know, get familiarized with it. You know, maybe this is a deck we'll take into a standard event, because I do think like a bit more of a grindy deck is always a good thing, especially in more of a competitive style than just, you know, trying to go up rank as quickly as possible. So maybe tomorrow's video we'll be jumping into our standard event with it. We'll see how we do. I mean, at this point, you know, we're just trying things out. We're kind of seeing, you know, what's good. You know, we'll see how our matchups go. You know, we could get some favorable matchups. We get some not so favorable matchups. We didn't really see like the Boros aggro. We didn't see the mono whites, Naya humans. You know, there's those top tier decks, but maybe it's just because our deck's not technically top tier. So we're getting, you know, paired against decks that are a little more at our level overall in the queue. You know, 3 wins is definitely not that bad. I'll probably just get that 1 additional win after I probably finish recording here, just go up to 4 wins. But still, you know, 4 wins for the day is not bad. We're at 2,500 gold, which is good. Almost at another pack on the Mastery Pass, even though it's Baldur's Gate, which is, you know, it's okay. It's not great, but, you know, it's still, you know, a pack is a pack. That's possibly a wild card, so that's good at the end of the day. But, guys, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. You know, is it cool that I switch up decks a little bit so we're not playing Boros Burn all the time? You know, is there... I'll leave the deck list down below if you want to check it out. If you're someone who wants to play a Rakdos Anvil deck, it's definitely a pretty solid deck. You know, if you like those kind of, like, grindy style decks that kind of, like, trying to drain your opponent out of life points instead of really trying to hit their face. I'll leave a link down in the description below if you want to check it out. If you're new here, you want to know when I post new videos on the channel, hit that subscribe button. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Just want to give a special shout out to the channel members here on my YouTube channel. You can also become a channel member yourself down below the video, hitting that join button. It definitely helps out a lot, and I just appreciate you guys for your support.